Yes, welcome to part 13, Motorizing my uncle. Well, I got my magnifying equipment here, and the first thing I'm going to do is to trim either one ear off or take a little bit off of each ear. But before I do that, I want to go into my toolbox here and get one of those spade connectors and experiment with it before I start chopping on these here. Well, as you can see, I cut one ear off. I tried trimming them down. It did not work, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to cut off an ear off of each one of them. And they seem to fit under there. It'll be a lot easier than me trying to twist the wires together and forming a loop. Alright, I put a little contact cement in here, and I want to mount this little piece of foam rubber. Whenever I get anything, I always save stuff like this. This is like this kind of like semi-hard foam rubber. It's got contact cement on this side. I want to put it here because this thing rocks a little bit. And you know, you got these cable ties what John put in here to hold the relays in. So, and the bolts through here, you know, the heads stick up a little and make it rounder. So this will kind of like stabilize it, because there's not going to be any screws on the far end. There's only going to be a screw in here holding it down, and this way it'll enable it to be lifted up, because in order for me to put the contacts on here, I have to take it out to do that, and hopefully these wires will be long enough. Now, I already put on one wire already by cutting off one lug. Alright, all the ones that all got one ear now. Each one's got only one ear. And you can see I got the styrofoam contact cemented on the bottom, so that'll sit that nice and straight, and it doesn't rock anymore. Alright, that went along pretty smooth. You know, cutting one ear off was something I was thinking about last night before I went to bed, and that worked out really well. And this box will sit right here, so I can get at the fuses on this side, which is perfect. And my jacks are over here. There's nothing else on this side here that I need to get at. What I'm going to do now is hook up the 6-volt battery. Hopefully I can get it in there. I got so damn many wires here. With the 6-volt battery in there first, and I want to see how the eyes work. Alright, I got the 12-volt battery hooked up here. And we're going to plug the remote control cable in. Oh man, I can't. There we go. There's the mount solenoid. Now, not sure what this is. That's the head. Now you get to see how fast the head turns here. There's no safety switches hooked up yet, so we got to be careful. And we'll make sure we're not going to twist any wires here. This is out of the way. Okay. She's moving good. Alright, now the eyes. Here's the eye. These are the eyes. I have to remember that. That's the eyes. I know John told me. I can hear the eyes moving. So this is secured. As you can see, I secured this down here now. Alright, we're gonna commence to get these safety switches hooked up, and that's going to take me a little while because I got to make a metal plate. Each micro switch will have a piece of metal underneath it, and I can move it forward or back and make the adjustment necessary, and probably either screw it or put some duct tape on each end to hold the metal piece in. The metal can be longer so I can anchor it down and slide it closer or further away from this rod here to make the proper adjustments. We're going to have to mount the switch this way so that this hits. So it's going to have to be in this area, but I'm going to have to beef this up with a piece of aluminum so that it hits this. That's not a problem. I knew I was going to have to do that anyways. But I'm going to make some aluminum plate so I can move this around. But my biggest dilemma is mounting this here and bringing this over here. This is not going to reach. I'm going to have to split this down. I hate to do that. John's got such a nice, neat connection, but I'm going to have to split that because this isn't going to, this has got to go way over here, and it's not going to quite reach. I gotta split this down, I'm afraid. I don't think I'm going to be able to get it done any other way because this needs to be like this to activate. Even if it was like the other way, if I turned it the other way, then it's going to get in, the wires are going to be in the way of this thing when it moves. So this has to be over here. And then the wires could be secured to this support. All this does is keeps the back from touching anything here. But the back is metal and it's going to be screwed in anyways. So, alright, that's going to be here. That's the right side. So I know, and then there's going to be the left side. Well, I'm going to have to ruin this nice connection here, and I got to be very careful I don't cut any wires here. Well, I split the Y, but John's got it soldered here, so I'm not going to mess around anymore. It's going to be a very, very tight fit, but I think I might be able to get the spread here. The thing is that the switches have to be on an angle. You can't just put them like that. You have to be out like that. But maybe I can try to get them straight. Might be able to, even if I have to bring them out on a little extension. Maybe have it sitting like this instead of like this. I don't know. Whatever's going to be giving me the most wire to reach from one end to the other. But I did get, I managed to get a little bit more because it was down to here before. I hated to break that out. He's got a nice solder connection in there too, and I am not going to mess with that. Well, I fixed up the Y here. I can't pull it out any more than that because it's got a solder. There's a wire that's soldered there, and I'm not about to cut it. I really need to bring it down to about here to open it up. The problem is you can't put the switches straight out like this. You have to go on an angle so that this thing hits. There are several options, one of them which I really don't want to do. Cut this back and mount the switches closer and figure out some way of hitting it. But you know, I really don't want to do that. First of all, this thing's awkward to get off, and there's a nut and a bolt through this clamp. I really don't want to go that option. The other option is to get the metal, instead of putting the metal this way, put it out here and put the switch out here. But that comes out, this back, the metal back, I'm going to show you that metal back now. See, that's how the metal back is going to be. Now, you can see, when this is screwed in, I got screw holes in here. When this is screwed in, the shirt goes over so you don't see it. This stays on here and it's only held in by 4 screws, and it's taken off for maintenance. I got it so I could reach in there with the fuses. As you can see, I had to take that bracket off of here because it didn't serve any purpose, and I didn't want to. You couldn't screw it to this anyways because this don't sit right in line with it. So I can't have anything on the outside of this bar. What I was going to do was to cable tie this with a cable tie around it. That's not a problem. The thickness of that wouldn't matter at all. And I got to do something with the end. I knew I had to anyways modify the end of this because this paddle is very narrow, which is understandable. Because it is hitting, I have to keep this like this, you know, but maybe I can put something on here so it'll hit it, and I'll be able to mount the switches this way. If I can mount the switches this way, I'll just barely have enough wire, just barely. I really need to, in order to make sure I have enough wire, to mount the switches this way, but they're not going to hit. It's not going to hit that. And I don't want to risk bending these things, because if I don't bend them right and I screw it up, then I got to go and hunt around for a micro switch, and I don't know. I think they're pushed on, but they could be soldered on. I don't really know what John did. He really did a nice job on these, and I don't want to butcher it up. You definitely don't want to butcher it up. So that's where I'm at right now with that. I think what I might do, and I don't know if this is going to work though, now that I think of it, but if I drill a hole about here, put a bolt through here, because this is clearance about 1/4 inch, as you can probably see here. So if I put a bolt through here, sticking up like, you know, I don't know, maybe an inch or so, when the bolt comes over and hits this, it will do the same thing, and then I can mount the switches. I'll have to take a piece of metal, come out like this, and mount these over here. Then I don't have to strain to go way over here. I can probably put it here. She'll hit the bolt. The issue is I want to make sure that she gets the full travel. I'll have to experiment with that. I can drill a hole in that. That's not a problem. If it don't work out, it's not hurting anything. I could take the bolt out and put that metal U arrangement here, where it's going to have 2 metal sides here, and you know, coming around like a U-shaped, so that it would hit here. So I'm going to experiment with that. I'm going to drill a hole in that and do some experimentation off camera here, because these project videos are running into half hour, and it's taken me like 3 hours to upload a 1.3 gigabyte file, and this is on standard definition. You can imagine if I did this in HD. Well, I drilled a hole in here, and I'm going to try to put a bolt in here. I don't know if it's going to work, but like I say, it's not going to hurt anything. Alright, well, I fabricated up, with the screw in here, fabricated up a little rig here, which will be fastened here, and of course naturally it'll be adjusted. And then the micro switch will sit up here, and it'll hit the screw. Well, I'm stumped. The problem is I can't spread this wire far enough. I'm going to have to go back to my original idea of mounting it here. This thing works, but using this idea here is fine. The micro switch would sit here and it would trip here. But this damn bar hits this right here. Well, you know, this is holding me up. I might have to bring these up inside and tape them off for now and do without the safety switches. I hate doing that. But I might have to do away with the safety switches for now until I can think of a better way to do this. I've been thinking about this. I've been working on this for 2 hours right now, trying to figure it out, and I thought I had it all solved. And the idea, it works good, but when this rod comes over, it hits here, and the only way it won't hit here is to bring it way the hell out here. I can't have that. It's got to be flush with this. This is holding me up on everything else. I might have to let this go. It's very, very important to have safety switches, but I can't seem to figure out how to do it. See that? The only way I can eliminate it is to have it way the hell out here. Because they got long fingers on the, you know, a tripping lever for the micro switch. And then the more this comes out to here, it's more so, but it only matters in this area because these things are 2 inches wide. I'm at a dilemma here, and my back is killing me standing over this thing and trying to figure it out. I'm at a standstill here. Well, folks, I think we're going to end it for today because I have a feeling this video is going to be much longer than I like it to be, in spite of my editing and so forth. We accomplished quite a bit today, and we got the terminals trimmed up and the relay box mounted, and things are looking pretty good for the most part. It's no biggie if the amp doesn't work out, because like I say, I can get another one at eBay. They're relatively cheap. I didn't realize that, but I wouldn't attempt to open it up because it's way too small for me to work on anyways. And 9 out of 10 times when I try to work on a solid state item that's real small, I fail anyway, so I'm not even going to attempt it. So anyways, the biggest obstacle is this here. I haven't figured out a way to do that. I'm going to have to sleep on that one. Not literally sleep on this, because this will hurt. Anyways, I'm going to have to sleep on this, and maybe I'll come up with an idea. But it's supposed to rain, I think, tomorrow afternoon or so. So all this nice weather is going to come to an end, and it's going to get colder and colder. Well, worst case scenario, we'll have to run it without this, and we'll just have extra fuses. I don't like doing that, but I can. This draws, like I say, about 2 amps running. So if I put like a 4 or 5 amp fuse in here instead of what I got in there, she'll pop it, and it's better than putting a strain on the system. We don't want to damage any of the relays in here either, so underfuse this a little bit. It'll still run this, but if it comes to the end and binds up at all, it'll blow the fuse. And I'll just put the fuse outside, where I can get at it. That's the worst case scenario, but I'm going to sleep on this. Thank you for watching, everybody. You have a good day.